Hello, welcome to the Habitat for Humanity Hamilton Volunteer Engagement Training. Today, I'm hoping to give you all some insight into why volunteers are so important to us and what you all can do to ensure you're following proper procedure for volunteer engagement. After this, you should be confident in your everyday interactions with volunteers, and you'll know how to do your part to create an engaging experience for every volunteer. As we go through our presentation today, I want you to keep in mind a volunteer experience that made you want to keep coming back. Alternatively, think of one that wasn't a great experience. What made you feel the way that you did? Were you made to feel valuable, safe, engaged? What about to engage the community? Is it generally to do more with less? The truth is, it's all of these things. Ultimately, it is a part of our mission to mobilize volunteers to create a world where everyone has a safe and decent place to live. Even if we could build homes and repair homes cheaper, faster, and more efficient without volunteers, we wouldn't, because then we wouldn't be engaging the community. Volunteers are a driving force in working towards our core values. How do you think they fit into each of these? How does your role fit? These are good things to keep in mind while engaging our volunteers. If there's one thing you take away from this training, it's that a volunteer's experience should always be safe, rewarding, and engaging. Volunteers don't just come out of a vending machine. They require planning, cultivation, time, and relationship building. They're not just a workforce. They bring unique skill sets. Each and every one are valued leaders and supporters within our organization. They are a part of our community. Volunteers are integral to Habitat. We take them throughout our organization in every capacity, from construction to restores to our board. How many volunteers do you think we use? Well, last year, Habitat Hamilton had 611 individual volunteers who completed 9,048 hours of work. That's about equivalent to 5 full-time employees and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Even if we could build without volunteers, we wouldn't, because our mission is to engage the community. Volunteers come in all forms, from high schoolers to retirees to our corporate sponsors. We aim to bridge gaps and truly create an engaged community within our volunteers and our common mission. Habitat homeowners are volunteers too. Make sure they have a good experience and be sure they have meaningful tasks where they are learning about our construction and their future home. Work through any language barriers with a smile. They are working hard to earn their home. Take time to get to know them and introduce them to other volunteers if the homeowner is comfortable with it. Our homeowners are a huge reason why we do what we do. Let's talk about the specifics working with volunteers. We have 3 top priorities when working with volunteers. Be safe. Always ensure volunteers know how to do their tasks safely and encourage them to ask any questions they may have. Create a rewarding experience. Reinforce their value and how they're contributing to Habitat's mission. Ensure engagement. Give volunteers meaningful tasks, avoiding downtime when possible. Proper engagement will keep volunteers feeling like they've made a difference. What's the difference between volunteer management and engagement? Which do we need to do? If you guessed both, you're completely right. Both are necessary. Volunteer management is more focused on making sure the volunteer is able to complete their tasks, focusing on providing support and direction. Volunteer engagement includes building a relationship with the volunteer while they are performing a meaningful action. Having a relationship first, then including tasks, enables us to engage a volunteer. An engaged volunteer will return, be more invested, and enable us to accomplish our days more effectively. As a nonprofit, we are lucky to have a huge resource, volunteers, but we have to utilize them optimally. What comes with volunteer management? The first thing to be done is to organize and prepare. You should know when your volunteer is coming and who your volunteers are for the day, and make sure you have tasks prepared for them. It's best to keep groups together where possible. Emphasize that all work needs to be done and all work is important, but if folks really aren't enjoying work, to come talk to you. Keep them engaged. That allows for conversation and team building. You should pair volunteers with specific staff if you notice any issues or if you notice that they get along really well. For restores, You might consider appointing a group leader liaison between your volunteers and staff. Additionally, volunteers often work better in pairs. For example, with painting, one might use a roller and one might use a brush. Volunteers can tackle cleaning an area together or moving or loading as a pair. Next is to orient the volunteers to the site. Arriving on a construction site, a restore, or any new space can be intimidating and overwhelming. Think about signage. Is it pointing volunteers in the right direction? And customer service. You should welcome people even if you aren't the one doing their orientation. Help them feel at ease by making sure they know where things are. Bathrooms, water, tools, a good place to put their stuff and to eat lunch, if there's a designated break room. You should make sure they know where to sit and where any property lines may be. Again, they should know where to find you throughout the day. And finally, you should reinforce all standard health and safety procedures. Everyone comes out for different reasons and with different expectations of what the day and the work will be like. In construction, some think it's all framing. Our marketing usually spotlights swinging hammers and raising walls. Some think that there will be inside work like painting no matter the stage of construction. You should ask, what did you think volunteering would be like? And manage this. Remember, we're here because of the homeowners. If it feels like there are problems with the difference, explain why we're doing the work we're doing today. Let volunteers know what the day is going to look like. Explaining tasks and getting everyone set up may take a while. If you're still trying to get the project set up and the volunteers may need to wait, let them know why. You should give breaks or additional tasks. And finally, reinforce how their work will help our mission to build affordable housing, especially in the restores, as it can often feel less direct. This could come in the form of reminding them how our restores support our administrative costs so that all donated money can go directly to home building initiatives. Explaining tasks. Make sure you're taking time to go over the task with the volunteers slowly. Don't assume they know what you're talking about and how to do everything after being shown just once. Training doesn't just happen at the start of the day, but constantly throughout the day as new tasks are introduced and new questions come to the volunteers. Keep in mind that people have different ways of learning. Some may need to see you do it first, while others may want to have you guide them while they perform the actual task. If you're leading volunteers on a task, make sure to explain why. For example, if you're asking them to move materials from one side of the site to the other, explain the importance of moving those materials. Do the same for cleaning tasks. Now I want you to imagine a tree. You can pause and draw one out if that will help you get a better picture of one. Got it? Good. Did it look like any of these? Well, if you drew or thought of any tree other than the palm tree, you got it wrong and you failed. See, it doesn't feel good to try and complete a task when you don't have all the information, and it is never fair to expect someone to know exactly what you mean by your instructions without giving them the proper amount of detail. For example, if I had told you I want you to draw a tropical tree with a brown trunk and big green leaves, you might be more expected to draw a palm tree. Be intentional in your instructions. Don't leave misunderstandings up to chance. Use words you know will be understood, and try different methods if your first attempt didn't seem to go through. Most of all, be patient. Now, what are the qualities of a good supervisor? Think of one you've had in the past, a manager, mentor, teacher, or someone else entirely. What made them a good supervisor? It's likely that they were trustworthy, consistent, that they modeled good behavior, that they had a positive attitude or a good sense of humor, that they were empowering, supportive, and articulate, and that they provided feedback. Now consider your own strengths and weaknesses. What's one thing you are awesome at? And what's one thing you could strengthen? Three cores to focus on for good volunteer engagement are leading, checking in, and engaging through conversation. For leading, volunteers look to you not just for technical questions, so you should lead by example. Set the pace. Don't rush, but keep people busy. If you tell volunteers no need to hurry, but then rush around, they'll feel like they should too. Set the mood. Be positive. Even if it's boring work, even if it's nasty weather, even if you're fixing yesterday's mistakes, try and keep it positive. If you need a moment, step aside. Set the bar on safety. Follow safety policies and practices. If that means a little more work or a slower pace, explain why. If you tell volunteers no talking on your cell phones, but then you talk on your cell phones, they will too. Just lead by example. For good volunteer engagement, you should be checking in on them. Now, how often should you check in on volunteers? Truthfully, it depends on the individual, the task, and their own personal experience. Use your judgment, but make sure that no matter what, you check in on volunteers throughout the day. You should encourage water breaks and breaks in general whenever a volunteer needs one. You should also encourage questions. It's easier to do it right the first time than to have to do something multiple times. You should ask, what questions do you have, and not, do you have any questions? Priority is to work alongside the volunteers while staying one step ahead of them. If you need to leave them alone, make sure they know where you are going and where they can find you. As well, they should know when you'll be back. And most of all, keep the volunteers engaged and busy with meaningful work. Engaging volunteers through conversation is a fantastic way to get to know them. You should introduce yourself and get a sense of who your volunteers are. You might not remember everyone's name, but you can get to know them a little. You should ask them questions. A lot of people are intimidated or don't want to interrupt. And as you check in, you can ask them, how's the task going? Or how's the day going? You should also ask them if they need anything, like tools, materials, or any sort of break. You can also find out their motivations. It's not just about the work. Get them talking, instill trust, and show you care. You could ask, how did you hear about Habitat? What made you decide to get involved? Have you worked with any other affiliates or volunteered with any other nonprofits? Have you heard of our restores? Did you know you can donate, shop, and volunteer there? And then, of course, where are you from and what do or did you do for work? Appreciation is very important in making a volunteer feel good about their work. How do you like to be appreciated at the end of the day? Thank yous can go a long way. Make sure you use volunteer names when thanking them. Specific recognition goes much further than a generic thank you. You could try an impact statement, something like, Eric, thank you so much for putting the tools away and cleaning the floors. Because you did this, we will be prepared for the volunteers that are coming tomorrow and will be able to get much more work done. Volunteers are generally amazing to work with, but there will be times when you come across a difficult situation. Let's go through how to handle some of those instances. What do you do when you have a volunteer who is unhappy with their assignment? Some tasks are awesome. Not everyone can do them, and not all of them are available every day. Some tasks are not awesome, but they're still important to the building of the home. Make sure you explain why they are important and what aspects of construction or the finished home they impact. Share the load. If possible, have everyone help out on the one not fun task. That way, no one feels singled out and it's over with faster. For example, moving tile from one area to another. What if your volunteer just can't get it right? Be courteous with corrections and suggestions for improvement. Never take a tool or a task from them. Ask if you can show them. Don't just do it for them. Repeating the same instructions can be frustrating for both of you, so try to find different ways to explain the task. You can always demonstrate good and bad examples. See if they're uncomfortable with any aspect of the task. For example, if the material's too heavy or some old injury is acting up. And if so, find alternatives so they can work comfortably. If all else fails, find another task and ask if they'd prefer to do that. Make it clear that this new task is equally important, maybe even more so. No one wants to feel demoted. And most of all, be patient. They're volunteers. What if your volunteer's English isn't very strong? You should be expressive. You can use your hands to demonstrate and make examples and perform tasks in full while explaining. Do not raise your voice. The issue is the language, not the volume. You should Google it. Look up translations of key words. And if you can't pronounce it, show them the word or the sentence on your phone. When possible, you should pair non-English speakers with a translator. There won't always be someone on site who speaks the same language, but you should try and find one. This isn't just so they can understand your instructions. It's so they can have someone to talk to instead of feeling lost and alone all day. And finally, be patient. Remember, it's just as frustrating for them. What if your volunteer tells you they know how to do something and don't need your instructions? Some people will be more experienced than you, and that's okay. Ask them to be patient and explain that teaching them is helping you to learn. For folks who have construction experience outside Habitat Hamilton, remind them that we do some things differently here. Many experienced volunteers will be excited to help you learn, so ensure you take their wisdom into consideration while still prioritizing Habitat Hamilton's safety guidelines. And if there are any problems, someone not listening, or someone being rude, or anything that makes you uncomfortable, talk to your supervisor. What do you do if you had expected a task to take all morning and it only takes an hour? Some volunteers and groups will finish a task before you're ready for them to start the next one. No one wants to just stand around, and no one wants busy work. There is always construction or restore cleanup. They can tidy material stores, remove scrap, sweep and put away tools. To help get ready for the next task, outline the tools and materials they can begin gathering. You can always take breaks, drink water, put on sunscreen, explore the house or the items in store. Everyone likes a home tour, especially if their task isn't in the home. If there will be a little bit of a waiting period before you can get groups working, just say so. Ask for patience, recommend they drop items off in the car, and double check the work is done correctly and prior work is done correctly. After someone volunteers, they receive a thank you email with a link to a quick survey to tell us about their experience. What we've found is that people enjoy working with and getting to know staff as well as the other volunteers. They also enjoy seeing physical proof of the work, learning about Habitat, and learning new skills. What people don't enjoy is when it's unclear who will support them during the shift. They also don't enjoy just standing around or doing busy work. So, who does what? What falls on the volunteer team and what falls on the build and restore staff? Who helps with recruitment? Everyone! The volunteer team posts shifts and positions on our website. We promote on external websites and through social media, and we're always looking for more recruitment initiatives. However, you are our biggest tool in recruiting. Returning volunteers come back because of a positive experience with you, and they're much more likely to share the word about Habitat. What about onboarding and orientation? The volunteer team and the build and restore staff all have a part to play. You do this on sites daily by providing guidance and demonstrating the principles and practices Habitat Hamilton strives towards. The volunteer team provide extra support for materials and content and help set up the orientation. Who does what in terms of proper recognition? Habitat Hamilton hosts volunteer recognition events and gives out swag for dedicated volunteers. The build and restore staff give out thank yous and impact statements, which can go a long way. And remember, if you want to do something above and beyond to recognize your volunteers, we are always happy to discuss ideas. Who helps with surveys and feedback? That's right, everyone. The volunteer team surveys all volunteers after their experiences to gather good, applicable feedback. Additionally, we rely on feedback from you. This could be your own thoughts or feedback you've received from volunteers. We are regularly evaluating and monitoring our volunteer programs, and we welcome feedback as we're always trying to improve. Please remember, the volunteer team is here for you. We are here to support you all and to support our volunteers. And the most important thing is to communicate with us early and often. Keeping clear, regular communication allows our affiliate to accomplish more and creates a better experience for everyone involved. If you're ever unsure of what to do, talk to your supervisor and ask for guidance. Thank you for being present for our volunteer engagement training. It's up to you now to put what you've learned into practice. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us at volunteers@habitathamilton.ca.